Today, we're going to be talking about the super juice of retirement income that's otherwise known as mortality credits. Not very well known, but extremely powerful in the retirement income space. I hope you enjoy. When it comes to retirement income strategies, one of the most overlooked pieces that can have the greatest impact are mortality credits. I like to call them the super juice of retirement income planning. So what are mortality credits? Well, mortality credits only come into play when you're incorporating actuarial science into a retirement income plan. And your typical investment strategy does not incorporate mortality credits in. So what is a mortality credit? Well, for simplicity, I'm going to give you a very quick overview of what a mortality credit would look like, and then we'll see how that might apply in a situation related to retirement income. So let's take a situation where we got 5 best friends, 5 widow ladies that all get together and they go on a cruise every year. And one year they decide, let's get together, let's all put $100 in a box. So with 5 of them, that means there'll be $500. And what we'll do next year when we get together for our cruise, we'll open the box. And however many of us are here, we'll divide the money between those that are here. Well, between that year and the next, when they all got back together, one of them had passed away. So that means there were 4 surviving friends. They had the $500 in the box. And when they took it out and they divided it amongst each other, they each got $125. Now, the money in the box didn't earn any return at all. What those 4 surviving ladies received is what we would call mortality credits. And when you incorporate this into retirement income, it can be an extremely powerful vehicle and one that can, in some cases, potentially create double the income that you were anticipating otherwise. So I'm going to share my camera or my screen, and y'all have seen before I've utilized truth concepts. Wonderful calculator. I utilize these calculators in a lot of scenarios when I'm building out strategies. In this particular case, I just want to use it as a calculator to run some quick numbers. So let's take an individual that's 35 years old. They are starting at ground zero, but they've really nailed down a good job, and they're going to save $20,000 a year. Now, don't get fixated on that particular amount thinking, oh, that's a lot or it's not a lot or what have you. The numbers work the same regardless when we're talking about mortality credits. So I'm going to, if we're going to be in some kind of investment strategy, we're going to have fees. I'm going to use what's considered to be a very low fee, but I want to be fair to this. If you look at Forbes did a study on the average fees, and they're significantly higher than 1.5%, but in the interest of fairness, I'm going to use 1.5% total all-in cost. We'll use an average annual return of 8%. And what that tells us is if we save $20,000 a year for 30. Let's back up here. We should do this for 30 years. We're a 35-year-old doing this for 30 years. We're going to have $1.798 million. Let me jot that down quick. We'll bounce back again. 1,798,921. All right. Now, if we consider what the academics tell us as it relates to what's a safe withdrawal rate, if you want to have a reasonable expectation, not that you'll maintain your portfolio, but that it will at least last 30 years, the safe withdrawal rate is considered 2.8, but I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt, and I'll call it 3%. So if we used a 3% distribution rate that tells us that we're going to be able to distribute approximately $54,000 out of that account each year and have a reasonable expectation it should last 30 years. Now, we may end up with $1 left. We may end up with as much money as we started. We may end up with more, or we might run out of money. We don't know because it's going to depend on the performance of the account. But now I'm going to back up. So we have not incorporated mortality credits. Now we're going to back up and let's use $15,000 as our accumulation. So he's going to just put 15 in this particular account, which means we'll end up with this 1.349191. 1349191. Okay. So pretty simple. If somebody were to look at those two situations, typically what they would say is, well, it's pretty obvious that the individual that has the 1.7 million is going to be the one that's going to have the most income. The calculation, the safe withdrawal rate using 3% is $54,000. However, when we incorporate mortality credits, which is involving actuarial science, we can make small dollars look like big dollars. What does that mean in relation to what we're talking about here? Well, person A had 1.7 million. Person B in the same account using the same rates of return had 1.3. However, if they choose to incorporate actuarial science, their distribution rate will be 7.65%, which means they can draw $103,000 out of this account. And not only can they draw $103,000, they can design that because of actuarial science where it's promise-based income, meaning it's contractually guaranteed that they will never run out of income. So they do not have to worry about what's going on with underlying investments. They're getting almost 100% more income, and they've taken the risk off the table of ever running out of income. Now, that's not the whole picture if you think about it. In this scenario, we only put 15,000 a year in. In this one, we put 20. So the person B has another $5,000 that they've been creating additional income with or additional assets that they can also create income with. This just gives you a taste of the impact that actuarial science can have on retirement income planning. Now, I'm deliberately not going into the detail of a specific situation because there are probably a half a dozen different ways that you can actually incorporate this and make these mortality credits work for you. In some cases, it could be whenever you get ready to retire and how you turn in the income. In other cases, the most powerful cases are if you start at the beginning. So in other words, if you begin with the end in mind, what it is that you ultimately want, and you involve mortality credits, you bring to life a whole other world that's just simply not available when you don't have the mortality credits. So if you have questions about retirement income planning, how to incorporate mortality credits, how that might affect you, or anything else related to risk management, don't hesitate to give myself a call or myself or Terry here at Westside Advisors and Insurance Services. I hope you have a great week.